Namaste. Welcome to this presentation. Today, we are going to discuss about curricular practices in inclusive classroom. From the previous discussions, we are very clear about what is inclusion, what is inclusive education, and what should be an inclusive education, how to create an inclusive learning-friendly environment. And from the discussions of previous days, we are very clear about what is inclusion. Inclusion means giving opportunity to all children to enjoy mainstream education. All children means children with various abilities, gender, caste, creed, means irrespective of all, disability, severity, age, etc. All have equal opportunity to enjoy the mainstream education. Like European countries, India has also passed various acts like Right to Education Act, Rights of Persons with Disabilities Act, and all these acts made giving legal support to the inclusive education. And that's why now studying in a mainstream setup, mainstream school, become the right of every child. Now, inclusive education or education in inclusive setup is a right of all children. How to make, to make a good inclusive education or to implement that policy with full spirit, we need to have a lot of facilities, what facilities? Suppose all children, they are getting opportunity to sit together in a mainstream education. Inclusion not completed. That's not inclusion. Inclusion means we have to create facilities. We have to make barrier-free environment. Means all children have accessibility to the school, accessibility to the various activities of the school. So, infrastructure, facilities. Not only that, one of the main component in inclusive education is curriculum. Yes, today we are going to discuss about curriculum transaction or curricular aspects in an inclusive education. You know what is curriculum? I know we are very clear, all of us are very clear about what is curriculum. I'm not going to discuss what is curriculum today, but I would like to give you an insight or just an idea about the various aspects of a curriculum. Curriculum is a plan of action, no doubt, which incorporates the learning outcome to be attained over a period of time. Now the third component, by exposing the learner to various learning experiences, means curriculum include all aspects of education. Curricular, co-curricular, extracurricular, all aspects, but all the experiences which a school or a institution plan to achieve the outcome of education. That's curriculum. Now the first component of today's discussion is curriculum adaptation. Suppose a child with learning disability, he's also, we will allow him to sit in our classroom. We admit children with intellectual disability in our mainstream classroom. We admit children with other sensory issues, motor disability impairment, hearing impairment. So, in an inclusive classroom, we may find children with disabilities, different learning needs, children with emotional issues. The role of a teacher in an inclusive classroom, the main role of a teacher in an inclusive classroom is to adapt a curriculum. Why we do adaptation? To address the learning needs, abilities of each child sitting in my classroom. Here, in curriculum adaptation, don't think that doing adaptation means simply we are modifying the content. No. Here, adaptation means adjusting assessment, materials, teaching learning materials, curriculum, most importantly, classroom environment. Why? To accommodate students with different needs, students with different abilities, and achieve the teaching learning goals. This is what the definition given by NCERT in National Curriculum Framework 2015. So, we know, we are clear, adaptation means modification of content, curriculum, and delivery of instruction, modification in instruction, and third, most importantly, learning environment. First and foremost aim of curriculum adaptation is to make education accessible to see that no learner is unfairly prejudiced and excluded. Imagine that a child with intellectual disability is sitting in an 8th standard. We know how tough the 8th standard subjects, science subject, maths, English, etc. How a child with intellectual disability learn with general curriculum. It's very difficult for a child with intellectual disability to learn anything. So in that context, we adapt, we modify the curriculum for what? To include that child also. And we choose the content which is appropriate to that child. I mean the child with intellectual disability sitting in my classroom. Friends, various aspects of curriculum that includes methods, environment, curriculum I already discussed. So when we talk about curriculum adaptation, it is good to know what is accommodation and modification, all these things. Adaptation, accommodation, and modification may seem like interchangeable terms, but when it comes to inclusive education, they carry significantly different meaning. Oh, but what's the different meaning? We'll see. In accommodation, we do not fundamentally alter the expectations or standard in instruction level, content or performance criteria. That's the main difference. In accommodation, we do not fundamentally alter the expectations or standard of the instruction level or content. But in modification, we do that modification. We do fundamentally alter expectation or standards in instruction level, content or performance criteria. Then another difference is changes are made in order to provide equal access to learning and equal opportunity to demonstrate what is not. That's in accommodation, changes are made in order to provide equal access to learning and equal opportunity to demonstrate what is not. And in modification, changes are made to provide students meaningful and productive learning experiences based on individual needs and abilities. And in accommodation, grading is same, but in the modification, grading is different. That's a key difference between accommodation and modification. And this is another way of explanation of both accommodation and modification. In accommodation, we focus on how, but in the modification, we focus on what. Okay, first thing, provide multiple means and opportunities for students to demonstrate in accommodation, and provide equal access to instruction and assessment, reduce or eliminate the impact of disability when we do accommodation, and do not fundamentally alter. That's I already discussed. Now, we are going to discuss the second point, how we can differentiate the content suitable to an inclusive classroom. Content modification. How to do a content modification? In other ways, we can say curriculum adaptation. In other words, the New Jersey Council on Developmental Disabilities list 9 different types of adaptation that teachers might use when addressing the needs of different learners. So we are going to discuss these 9 types of adaptation which we can use in our inclusive classroom, especially to do the content modification, content adaptation. The first one is input. Adapting the way the instruction is delivering to the learner. And so here the input we do, we make changes in the in input, how we are giving instruction, the way the instruction is delivered. So one thing is clear, that in a classroom we have children with different types of learners, like auditory learners, visual learners, tactile learners. A few students, they enjoy the explanation of teacher, but if you there is a group of students, they always wait for the teachers to write on blackboard. They are visual learners. And tactile learners, a few of us are tactile learners because we go home and write and write. Okay, 100 times we'll write and we'll learn the things. So they are tactile. So in our classroom, there are students, or there are auditory learners, visual learners, and tactile learners. So we should take this in our mind when you deliver the instruction, give instruction. So we should show the material so the visual learners will enjoy. We have to explain the things when you show the things. So both auditory learners and visual learners will enjoy. At the same time, we will ask the students to write down also. So the teacher, a good teacher, always use multisensory approach. And here, when you give instruction, deliver instruction, we should consider the theories of perception. We should know the theories of attention. We should know the theories of motivation. So if you know a teacher, if a teacher will be able to understand the students well and make sure the students they are attending the class. They have the motivation. Now they are motivated to learn the things what they are going to deliver. Okay, there is no other perception issues. They will listen. They are listening to your class, and now they are able to catch the stimulus whatever you are giving. So you do adaptation input. Suppose a child with visual problem, low vision, is sitting in your classroom. How will you present the things? You will present in a material with big letters. Then always, of course, you will ensure that whenever you are writing on blackboard, there's enough light. Okay, and that's visible to the children. Those are sitting even in the back side. Okay, then when you explain the things, suppose a child with autism is sitting in your classroom, you will use visual charts, pictures you will use. A child with intellectual disabilities in your classroom, how will you present the things? You will make it simple. The instruction, you will make simple instruction. Instead of 2-3 sentences, you will make 1 sentence. Instead of to make simple, you will do modification accordingly. You have to. We will do. So inputs. That's the first point. We should be very serious about this first point. Input. How we are delivering instruction. whether the students is able to perceive the things, understand things. So modification we have to do the modification, adaptation, the first point, input. Second point is output, adapting how the learner might respond to the instruction. What output you're expecting. Suppose a child with intellectual disabilities in a classroom, you're teaching a 10-line poem. So you can expect that yes, he will say just uh, meaning of the all story. I mean, just briefing about the poem instead of by hurting all the 10 lines and okay. So you can reduce the content. You can expect the output accordingly. So how they are suppose a child with learning disability sitting in your classroom, they have he is having um, writing issues. Okay, dysgraphia. In that case, what you will do? Instead of giving in writing, you can ask him to just speak. Okay, so output adaptation we can do at output level. Then the time. Always, of course, it is not a difficult thing to understand. We can be flexible in time, can give more time to children with sensory issues and other cognitive impairments. Okay, to complete the task, uh, either increase or decrease the time, that's up to you. You can do modification in time. The fourth point is difficulty, adapting the skill level, problem type, or rule on how the learner might do the work, such as simplifying the directions. You reduce the difficulty level. So, all children, I mean, children with various ability can solve the problem, complete the task. Okay, for that you can use, sometimes you can use assistive technology or adapt yours. In case of children with intellectual disability, task analysis, we use task analysis also. Level of support, that's the fifth point, level of support. Increase the amount of personal assistance for a specific learner. If you find that this particular child is facing problem to complete the task, you can give extra support or you can give the support of a peer. Okay, you can assign somebody to support the child. So level of support, assigning peer tutor, shadow teacher, parental support, or you can take the help of special educator. Finally, if you feel like giving assignment to the may and say home-based program, it's also fine. So give extra support. Then size of the content, adapting the number of items that the student will complete within a time, such as the reducing the number of answers on a multiple choice test, less content to be learned, reduce amount of homework. Likewise, we can reduce the size of the work, okay, so that they will be able to complete the work. They will be also feel that they are also learning something. They are also fit into that classroom. Okay, degree of participation, adapting how much the student will be involved in an activity. Suppose a child with a physical problem, wheelchair bound, you can design his participation level. Okay, such as having the student write answers on the board, curricular or co-curricular activities. You can, being a teacher, you have to design the degree of participation, how much the child has to complete, or how much he has to participate in this particular activity. What's his contribution? Which role he has to take in this group activity? So that all we can plan and by the why we are doing all these things. The first point, okay, access. I mean, include all children in your classroom. All should have something to learn. All should have something. All should feel that as they are learning something. Okay, alternative goals. Finally, if you feel like that this child is not able to learn this particular targets, you can alternate. Suppose you are teaching about solar system. Okay, in that case, my child sitting, child with intellectual disability or autism or some slow learners is sitting in my classroom. I know that he not able to understand everything. So I can modify the goals. I can tell him that you are supposed to learn about only earth and sun. Okay, rest of the students will learn, about various aspects of solar system. Okay, like that you can change the goal also. Substitute curriculum. So finally, if we are feeling like this is not in a position to move, get along with this particular curriculum, you can provide different instruction material to meet learners' goal, such as asking a student to read graphic novel version of a text instead of entire novel. Like these are the main types of adaptation which we can practice in our inclusive classroom. This works. This works. Okay, because when you see, when you consider all these 9 points, okay, definitely all the learners will enjoy your classroom because all will learn, all will enjoy the classroom learning. Teachers how to adapt curriculum to provide equity and meet the needs of diverse learners in order that all learners benefit. That's the thing. All learners benefit and can fully participate in the classroom activities. So this is an example of 9 types of adaptation. Okay. Now I would like to get your attention to one point, that's universal design for learning. This is another interesting area. It's actually a first area. I would like to just mention about what is UDL. So this is something innovative idea, emerging idea, which universal design for learning means, I mean, designing a curriculum, okay, for all in such a way, designing a curriculum in such a way that to meet the learning needs of all. Okay, actually, this universal design for learning, that concept emerged from universal design in architecture. Universal design, for example, a lift. It's designed with, I mean, universally designed means anybody, any age, any age group can use lift. People with different education, level can use. Okay, so means universally designed. So anybody can use, all can use. Okay, irrespective of their education, qualification, their strength, etc. Okay, so in universal design for learning means we are learning content or content class, everything you are designing in such a way that all can participate, all can learn. We are addressing all. So this is also another idea which we can use in inclusive classrooms nowadays. Many of the European countries, in India also, we are using this idea, universal design for learning in inclusive classroom. So where in UDL, we focus important 3 principles that that's one is representation, multiple means of representation. Representation means how you are presenting the things. Okay, then multiple means of expression, how the learning and to expand strategies. Expression means the way of expression, how the style is, we have what, different way of expression we are inviting. Then multiple means of engagement to enhance involvement. So multiple means of representations is what, expression means how, engagement refers to why. Okay, so these are the 3 important principles. Okay, it's a very emerging, actually an emerging concept, very innovative concept, very useful idea which we can use in our inclusive classroom, UDL. So straight away going, these are some examples of adaptation for ASD. You can use pictures, word with illustrated pictures, sight words, flashcards. So a child with ASD, since they're having the main problem in communication, socialization, and language. If you talk much, no use. You have to show pictures, you have to use visual clues, schedules, social stories, etc. Okay, then in the case of children with visual impairment, same. If you have general classroom, general way of presentation does not satisfy them. you have to do some modification, adaptation, the content, material, etc. Same with children with hearing impairment and learning disability also. Okay. And now the third point, the third content, measures of evaluation in an inclusive classroom. How we can conduct the evaluation? It is almost same as content, I mean curricular adaptation. Suppose if you are using the same method to evaluate all children in your classroom, many of them they will fail. Many of them will fail in your exam. Okay, in your evaluation. Then if you change the mode, if you give different, if you use different methods in the sense based on their ability, their issues. If you are asking a child with learning disability to write, suppose child with okay dysgraphia, if you are asking to write the things, if you are asking, if you are giving exam, write written exam, he will definitely fail. Okay, so we have to do adaptation in evaluation also. Okay, now we know almost all education system give very important weight, I mean, a lot of weightage to continuous and comprehensive education. Okay, here we evaluate all aspects of a student development, both scholastic and co-scholastic areas, and mostly in continuous and comprehensive evaluation, we evaluate the knowledge, understanding, applying, analyzing, evaluating, and creating. All these skills we are assessing. For that, we give different activities. We conduct exams. We conduct, I mean, ask them to perform. We ask them to do something. Okay, we give different tasks. So when you are giving different tasks, just keep in your mind that whether this particular task which you are giving, assigning to a particular child, whether it is suitable to that child ability, or otherwise you can do the necessary modifications. Okay, uh, you can change, I mean, reduce the quantity. You should be aware, I mean, think about difficulty level of the task which you are assigning, level of support, participation. I already discussed the same things. Time allotted. Okay, it's a 30 minutes exam. So in case of a child with physical issues, physical motor disabilities, you may not be able to complete. Child with cerebral palsy, you may not be able to complete within 30 minutes. So you can give extra time. Child with learning disability, you have to give extra time. Okay, so sometimes you have to give alternative goals. You cannot expect the same outcome from all students. Okay, so that's how the some alternative methods for evaluation. You can use visual materials. Can ask show and ask what is this. Okay, you can definitely ICT plays a very key role in adaptive evaluation. You can use computers. You can use videos, different things. You can use help. You can take the help of information communication technology to conduct evaluation. You can have observation instead of okay, different observation methods are there. You can use any of these methods to see the performance of the child. Okay, anecdotal records you can use. Portfolio evaluation, you can ask the child to show his portfolio, I mean, sheets, everything. Then performance evaluation, you can conduct checklists, you can use rubrics and metrics methods you can use. These are the very innovative and emerging concepts which we use something alternative methods as method for evaluation. So I'm going to conclude this with one take home message that whenever we are planning a lesson, when you are taking a lesson in inclusive classroom means my classroom where all children means children with various abilities are sitting, children with different abilities like children with disabilities, children with high, I mean, high functioning, gifted is sitting in your classroom. So in that case, how will you plan your lessons? This is a big challenge for every teacher. So the thing is that whatever we are planning for that particular class suitable to all children. All children should be able to access to the class, should benefit from your class, understand your class, learn something from your class. So that's a challenge. In that, to overcome that issues, or that to meet, address the challenge, either you can use alternate types of adaptation, or you can use UDL method. UDL methods one of the good methods, okay, which we personally use in an inclusive classroom. Okay, so I thank all of you for your kind participation and listening to this session. Okay, thank you so much for this opportunity. So please keep in mind, inclusive classroom environment means all should benefit. Even child with severe intellectual disability should also benefit from your class. Challenge. I wish all the best to all teachers. Please. Thank you so much for attending this session. Thank you so much.